Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Welcome, welcome. I got you on there as well to join the fun and get the day started. Looking at some contracts here, ready to get the day going. It is 8:28. We got less than 2 minutes until the market is open, and SPY is currently sitting right on top of our first resistance, 461.31. I tried to be a little more intricate with the levels today, make them a little tighter, and so we can identify some levels of bounce and rejection once we get to a certain point. So I wanted to slide it in there and not make like a little $2 range. That's right, Hayden. That's right. Lifelong Yankees fan. Like I've been a Yankees fan since I was a baby. So wish I had more time to watch some sports though. But yeah. All right, 461.34. The market is just about open. We've got 45 seconds until we are shaken and bacon and ready to get the day started. Looking at the same contracts I posted yesterday, pretty much, I will adjust accordingly in the event that we get things going. And yeah, so I'm itching to make a play after 2 days of sitting on the sidelines and watching. They are dang close. They are, but I identified two levels, and I wanted to form them. So we'll see. Let's see here, make sure everything's good to go. All right, that's good. All right, so all my audio is good. Everything should be good. There you go. All right, 4 seconds and a few seconds left to go. And there we go. Market is now open. All the X sectors are pretty much red with the exception of a few. Red candles start the day off and not all that much swinging. QQQ, green candle after this little chop fest we had going on. VIX is popping up here to 1624. Bonds are still increasing. XLF down, and that's that little rotation. Probably people taking some money off the table going into the FOMC. There's the watermark. Thank you, Motion Blur. Appreciate that. Futures bouncing up just slightly, and a little green candle here off of R1 climbing up. Posted in the OM plays room. SPY is posted. I've adjusted that one. I just used yesterday's. And I have to update the SPXs now that we're open. And let me look here. Let me look here. Pretty much the same. I'm adjusting the calls, but the puts are going to remain the same. So all that is updated. All right, so green candle gets smoked out to a red candle. QQQ sold off here. Let's look at the top 8. What's going on in tech today? Big green on Apple, got wicked out. Microsoft selling off. Amazon down. Facebook down. Google down. Nvidia's down. Tesla is climbing. Of course, Tesla's doing whatever it is. It's already up 1%. 1% in a tech stock is historically considered pretty dang good. But that is just a walk in the park for Tesla because they want 8%. They want 8%. XLK, red candle. And I'm just going to click through here and just got a good sentiment of what is going on. A lot of dichotomy here. XLK, red candle. VIX is still up there with the rates are down. Futures are flat at the bottom. NASDAQ had some big wicks up and down. Looks like a chopstick. Bonds are climbing pretty aggressively. XLF got that red candle bought up. And there we go, flipping back and forth, green to red. Can't figure out what it wants to do. What's going on, Nomad Trader? How you doing, Joe Donzi? How you doing? Brian Martinez, welcome, welcome, welcome. Interesting day, to say the least. To say the least. I'll be very curious to see what he says. So, do y'all want me to stream it through the channel? There may be a little bit of a delay, but I can do that if y'all want. I figured out how to do it last time. So, just be aware there will be a couple of second delay as opposed to you watching it on your YouTube. But morning from Germany. How you doing, Matthew? Am I going for puts or calls yet? I don't know yet. I'm going to let this thing shake out. Let this thing shake out. We'll do. We'll do. Okay. I could throw my commentary in there. I'll try not to be so colorful. All right, hanging out right at R1. Little consolidation here since 0730 Central, and it's also where we bounced off of all day yesterday. So after our little morning pop, we stayed there all day long, and this pre-market is no different. How's my week so far? Pretty dang good, Octo Daddy. Pretty dang good. So haven't made any trades yet, but it's still been a very productive week. Had a lot of awesome tier 3 calls. I've talked to a lot of people. Spent a lot of time getting to know you all and adjusting some systems, and it's been great. So it's been a fantastic week. Released a video yesterday, if y'all saw that. Definitely geared towards the beginner options trader, how to pick a strike and a DTE. But it's one that is very good because you can start to form a thesis on why you pick it instead of just throwing a dart at the option chain, hopefully not at your actual screen and break it. But you can learn to pick a strike and DTE a little more strategically. Look at this thing. A lot of wicks back and forth, buying and selling, buying and selling. I'm not really too keen on anything right now. QQQ has a lot of wicks here. SPY obviously has some wicks to the upside and downside. Now we have another green candle right off R1. All right, now we're getting bought. Let's see. The VIX now is still holding 1616. A little bit of red there. A good observation I saw this morning, the MOVE, which is the bond market option volatility index, is the highest it's been since the original Corona crash. So definitely some volatility coming into the bonds, and the bonds have been increasing since the beginning of October, along with SPY, which is indicative of a high liquid market, which we definitely have a high liquidity market here. So it appears to me the market is primed for a downturn. I think everything is setting up for a nice little downturn here. Maybe not a bearish market, definitely not going to say that, but definitely a downturn. It's just more, normal price action. We had a huge bullish run, the most aggressive bullish run we've had since the original recovery since in the March, and we've been doing this since the early October. So, it's just normal, healthy price action to refresh things, bring the sellers into it, and then refresh the buying activity. So everything's primed for it. It's just when will that actually happen? It's that time of month. It's that time of the month. How do you get pre-post market on the TV chart? It's the only thing available. And is that yeah? So I reserve that for my Patreon subscribers. Just another benefit for them as another thank you for supporting the community. So yeah. All right. So that green candle got smoked out. QQQ now is getting bought a little bit after two big red candles here. The VIX, man, shaking and baking, pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. The ripping into tearing. Right it down to 461.10. XLF kind of bouncing up just slightly. XLV. I'm just going to do a quick click through here. Some dojies for breakfast. Nice, nice. The GameStop AMC charts have been very tempting the past few days. Well, there you go. There you go. Hey, what was that? Look at that. All right, so coming down again, testing S1. We're popping throughout R1 and S2 right now. Oh, I see what you mean, Kevin. I see what you mean. Go down to the bottom and hit this little session right here, this little EXT, and you can put regular or extended. Make sure you have extended selected. All right. So SPY came in at 461.57 down to 460.97, which is about a 60-cent move here. Get the session ranges on, get the VWAP turned on here, get the pivots on there, start to figure out what's going on. 461.58 to 460.91. About a 60-cent range here. Nice, healthy red candle forming on SPY. QQQ now doing the same thing. VIX popping up to 1632 as SPY. Red candles. Alrighty. And our job today is to be a well-managed, smart trader. We're not going to YOLO. We're not going to anticipate moves. We're going to be smart. And we're going to make the smart money. Green candle on XLK. Little wick up on SPY. Still shaking and baking. You're welcome, Kevin. You're welcome. 240 people watching. Welcome to the YouTube channel here. Yeah, let me get this thing. It is a little adjusted, isn't it? Here we go. There you go. Won't let me check it too much because of I'm already streaming, but there you go. Alrighty. Man, look at that big wick up and then bounce right onto R1. Things are shaking like crazy right now. You have to be very quick on your exits and entries on playing that kind of action, especially we're just coming right back to neutral. Everything is coming right back to neutral. Up, down, right here. It's like doing up downs. Pushing and a pulling right now. VIX coming on down, rejecting up there at 1632. We fell down from the mid 16s, so we're right there where we should be. That's an expected rejection zone there for VIX coming up there. So the volatility likes to reject that area, but still hovering right on R1 continually. This is just a continuation of yesterday. This was our level yesterday. I adjusted it a few cents, but it's pretty much right about the same level. This was R2 yesterday. Today it's R1. And look, I mean, all day long we bounced off that thing all day, and then here we are in the same levels. Apple is getting a V recovery. Microsoft, I guess Apple finally got my cell phone payment this month, so that's why they're rocketing. Amazon is climbing up here. That's because my wife and her Amazon cart, and Facebook is falling off. So Google, little red candle there. Nvidia starting to bounce up there, and Tesla is starting to climb. So expected action of Tesla these days. Yep, my watch list is updated in OM plays. Take a look in there. I just refreshed. I just used the same one from yesterday, and I made a few adjustments because I didn't take a play yesterday. So go look in at OM plays. XLF climbing back up here. XLK. 2 p.m. Central or Eastern time, I believe it is, right? 2 p.m. Eastern. I need to verify that, and then 1 p.m. Central for the FOMC. So it should make for a very interesting afternoon. Might be one of those days where you sit on your hands in the morning and then let it fly in the afternoon once we get a clear direction of what's going on. Climbing up, green candles. Energy is falling from yesterday. Man, look at XLI. Industrials, big downside here. So a lot of downside. It's either neutral or down. That's pretty much the name of the game. XLV, healthcare, coming down. Selling off while XLK is trying to climb. Not too aggressive, though. And then SPY with another red candle. It can't maintain this whole wicking action for a while, so once it breaks, it's going to break. Twisted Mountain. I feel you. Yeah, this is hard to trade. I recommend exercising caution to trade this stuff. You need to be very quick in and out until we find a direction. You may get a quick scalp out of this, but look how quickly your profits would be destroyed. So wait for the break. Play the break. So Q is trying to make a V recovery. SPY is still hovering right under R1. All right, keep an eye on XLK as it's trying to make a comeback. They've been here for years. XLV about to form new lows. If we pop that 134.13 pivot, it could bring it some more downside with XLV there. XLF is still back and forth. The bonds now are still steadily increasing and have been doing so for weeks. With the exception of a few downturns, it's been an upward trend since the beginning of October with the bonds there. I'm going to head over to the 15-minute chart. Quince, right here, S1. All right, 15-minute chart. Big old wick. Big old wicks right now. Nothing going on in the 15-minute. Big selling volume. Definitely an overall downward trend since 10:45 Central yesterday morning on the 15-minute chart. Holding this level. What's up, Lee Rat? What's up, Howard? How you doing? Fantastic, fantastic mods. Y'all give a good shout out to Lee Rat and Howard, and Q for that matter. And awesome, awesome dudes, man. They are holding the room together. Couldn't do it without them. Love you. All right. Apple on the uptrend here. Microsoft starting to bounce. Jeffrey Bezos. 33.19. Amazon is still climbing. Let's see what happens with Amazon. See if they can continue that kind of bull run. I'm glad I got out of those puts. But I will be looking for another put entry on Amazon. I love Amazon, man. Amazon's my golden child. Even more so than Tesla. Even though I probably made more money in Tesla in 2020 than I did overall than Amazon. Google's coming down. Nvidia. Big smoke show on Nvidia. Look at that. Tesla's climbing. I don't know what Bourdain means, but I think out of context I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, I wish there's a way we could place a bet on the size of the candles about 5 to 10 minutes prior to the FOMC. The big swings upwards and downwards. So, yep, I may actually consider, if this crap keeps up here, I may actually throw some strangles in here. This is prime time action to do a zero point 0.1 delta strangle and make a little money. Start collecting them premiums, baby. 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, FOMC. All right, get a little green action here in SPY, bouncing off S1. 281 people watching the YouTube. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. I've got a great how-to series being rolled out in the wintertime as the weather gets colder and the sunshine starts going away. There's more time inside to start learning about trading. How-to series coming up throughout the fall and the wintertime to help you become a better and more strategic options trader. So that subscribe button will give you notifications for all that, as well as our Monday, Wednesday, Friday live streams. that was actually a early 2000s era George Bush reference, strategery. But I'll take the Storage Wars reference. I've never seen Storage Wars, so. Looks like a no trade day for me. I would say more like a no trade morning for me. I'll be looking to jump into some volatility near the last half of the day. Right now, we're just, this is untradeable at the moment until we get a break. You can play a preemptive trade in anticipation. I think that's a little more risky because I don't, your guess is as good as mine where this thing is going to go. And what I said, I said in my pre-market analysis, and there, Jay Powell's he's well aware. He's well aware of the weight that his words hold. He's aware that the entire world is looking at him, and they're going to be clinging on to every word he says. So the volatility is going to become through the interpretation of what he says, not what he actually says. If he leaves things open to interpretation, if he leaves things ambiguous, then there could be some interpretation to say, oh, well, he thinks we're going to raise rates quicker, but he's not actually saying it, and then the market's going to tank. So I'll be very interested to see what he's going to say and curious to see how the market's going to react. It should be fun, especially for us traders. This is the kind of stuff we live for. This is the kind of stuff we live for as traders. Events like today. Is it a nothing sandwich? Or is it going to bring in some volatility? And then we have the conversation of who does Biden elect? Put into power there for to replace J Powell, or does he reinstate J Powell? But that's pretty much, I don't know, that might have some weight. We'll see, though. Is a Wall Street sentiment that tapering is a good thing now? No. I've seen no indication in the news sources that I follow that tapering is a good thing. I've only seen the sentiment that tapering is a good thing in retail forums like Reddit or Twitter. Um, I do not think tapering is a good thing. I think tapering right now is pretty neutral, but it's going to lead to more downside because it has to lead to more downside. So the later half of the month, um, I've never seen the bullishness of tapering until the past month, and then I'm starting to see it creep into the retail markets. And I think it's more hope than it is actual real analysis that tapering is a good thing. Um, but that's part of being able to filter out what's real and what's feel. So, all right, green candles. And another wick. I disagree with that. Go back to 2013. That was one side. That the last time we did this tapering was back in 2013, and that destroyed the markets. So, um, yeah, the whole tapering comes down to the rate hike. When does the rate hike actually start to play into things? Because the whole point of tapering is to start tapering the bonds. Because right now they've bought up all these bonds now, and now they actually have to start backing off from that. And their whole thing is to hedge the market against rate hikes. And once they start rate hiking, that's when you're going to start to see the bearishness come in, the bonds go crazy and stuff like that. But that's the big question. This is just the first step towards that. I think that's the most likely scenario, Serge, at least going forward. I was AB Plum. I was. Are you going to come back after the meeting? Most likely, yes, Ben. Most likely. All right, so we'll see how this little green candle comes out of R1. We've got some top wicks, bottom wicks, not real strength or weakness anywhere. It's just a lot of sideways action. I'm not even looking to play a trade here, but we'll look into some doing a strangle. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is what 11 o'clock Pacific Time if I've done my math right. Subtract, no, yeah. So somebody wanted to do some Pacific Time in there. All right, let's see what the 15-minute says. Man, look at the 15-minute. There's like no body. It's all wick. It's all wick. Yeah, Apple's at the top of its range. A lot of top wicks there, and it's coming down there. You can kind of see those top wicks. That means that the sellers are starting to come into play and bring these candles down, 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 and finally the sellers overtake and come down. Yeah, but this is definitely the week of the theta traders. They haven't been getting a lot of great action the past few weeks, but this week is primed for the theta traders. Theta. So it is a day of sideways action. What does it mean to be a theta trader? What I refer to is that there's a lot of different definitions to that, but I'm referring to like if you say you want to go short strangles, you want to play some credit spreads, stuff like that. Um, where you want to collect those premiums on a day like today, where this is a premium decaying day where it just goes sideways, and the only thing you're fighting is theta. So it's a fantastic day to go do something other than sit at the computer. That's for sure. If Fed buys less bonds, then my guess is there will become more bond liquidity, which means bond. Well, investors have been resorting to the bond. That's the thing, Magic. Like the bonds have been increasing very aggressively the past few months. So the whole liquidity in the market, the whole thing about the market, the reason why we like this is because we are very liquid. The entire markets just have a crazy amount of liquidity. So actually, the taper is actually going to reduce liquidity. Nice, A. Davis. I do, Cam. I do. Yep. Yeah. So a theta play, for example, strangles. If you want to go short strangles here, what you would do is you would sell a call and sell a put on either side of the price, and you would strangle that price right in the middle. And your goal is to have that price to stay right in the middle, or even if you wanted to, just oscillate, because every time it oscillates, it decays over more and more in between your two levels. And you want that thing to expire right there in the middle, where both you're all you're doing is collecting those premiums. You're collecting the credits, and it's just a theta play. It's a way to play. It's a way to play consolidating movement, chop. Instead of going long call, long puts, and fighting theta, you actually theta is working for you. Just another strategy. All right, let's see here. Not much going on. Tesla finally giving a little bit back. There you go, Po Jelly. So I walked into Lowe's yesterday, and you know what I heard? Do you know what I heard yesterday in Lowe's? It's November 3rd. You know what? November 2nd yesterday. You know what I heard? Christmas music. Christmas music. We're 48 hours away from Nightmare Before Elm Street, Night Before Christmas, and I'm listening to Christmas music. Crazy stuff. All right, green candles right off R1. That was a little pop there. Let's see how it reacts. Red candle on the Qs, and we have a wick on this green candle. Let's see where that's coming from. XLU is climbing. XLB is climbing. E getting a bounce. Little bullish action. C and P. So a lot of green action in a lot of the sectors except for tech. XLF financial sector is beast mode right now. The bonds are selling off there and climbing up. Would you like a job? That's funny. I mean, they did have a hiring sign up there, but yeah. Nice, Johnny. I enjoyed your video yesterday, by the way. It was very. Oh, thanks. Glad you like that, Mark. I'll be doing a lot of the how-to series for sure, breaking down every aspect of options, so you can pick which videos you want to watch, which ones you don't, and tidy up your strategy. Man, look at that. So we finally broke off R1 on suspicious volume. Be nice if I could talk today. Big green candles off R1 and climbing. Do I enter a trade at specific percentage gain or wait for the volume to show? I wait for the volume to show. I let, man, look at that. Green candle pop up and sold off, breaking out of the top of the range. We got 5 minutes until the range is set, by the way. Yeah, I wait for the price action and the volume to tell me when to exit a trade. If I'm a little risk adverse at the time, if I don't want to leave a lot on the table, or if I don't trust the market conditions, I will take a trade off at percentage. But most of the time, I want the price action to tell me what's going on. All right, green candle smoked out right there. Oh man, bam, smacked in the face. All right, tech starting to round over. VIX is 1620. Look at the Nasdaq. Boom, bonds bought up. XLF is still climbing here, so might be a good opportunity. Ooh, not right now. Right back to R1 and bounce off R1. I do trade every day, yes. The one I use, Pojelly, is TLT. Why are you doing this today when you know it's going to be a chop land day because of the Fed? Because I want to teach and I want people to ask questions and have some good conversation. But I will be getting off in an hour, so because I'm not going to sit here and watch this all day. But it's a good day for some good trading related conversations, for sure. Right down to R1. I apologize if you took a call. Right back down. Look at that smoke show. So went to 461.67 on down to 461.17. Q's getting smoked. Tesla is dipping hard. Let's see here. Apple's red. Microsoft is now dipping pretty aggressively. Big. Oh man, look at the candle on Microsoft. Nice. Increasing selling volume. Amazon's red. Facebook red. 3 red candles there. Google starting to climb there. Nvidia once again giving it all back. And Tesla. Nice. Right at R1. Hey, I'm reading the VPA by Anna Kohler. What do you think is the most important thing to take away from the book? Supply and demand. Supply and demand. That's the biggest thing. You know that book. You know it is uh, critiqued because it's editing, and I agree. It's a little more difficult to read in terms of editing, but the content's fantastic because it's very simple. It's not a bunch of nonsense, and it breaks the market down for exactly what it is: supply and demand. And if you can understand the volume and how it trades, the price action, the candles, and then tie it into supply and demand and market awareness, that's really all you need. Then you could start trickling in whatever technical indicators you want. But once you have the foundation understanding of the market via that book, it'll change the way you trade. Am I going to trade Tesla again? Probably. Maybe in the future. The how-to video was great and would be more enjoyable if you went through the topic of without repeating what you had talked about before. What do you mean? All right, red candles. What trading program do I use? I mean, like a broker. I use E-Trade. Coming down to S1. All right, so now we're breaking that. So little red candles after that big buy up there. VIX 1627. All right, so the Q's just popped lows, session lows, and now we're targeting post-market lows, 388.60. Selling off. Man, look at that. I don't care about meme stocks. I don't. GameStop's an absolute dumpster fire, and to me, it's of very little value. Big, healthy red candles here. QQQ now upticking and down to 388.48. Man, look at that. Nice. Let's say price is coming down to S2. What should I look for in candles and volume? Sometimes, well, days like today, just remember, except that days like today are inherently more difficult because it is chop back and forth, lower volume chop. So here, you see some big, well, I say relatively big, and that's all relative because this is very low volume here. Uptick in selling volume, which is nice and supportive. But here, I'm looking for an overall market sentiment. Now, things are moving pretty quickly, so you can't really time plays all that. Like, you've got to be very, very accurate on timing your plays and your entries and exit because things are shaking. Look at this. I mean, we're talking big moves down, big moves up, and you have to watch. The volume is very telling because here, indicative of a sell-off here, but then you've got a green candle forming right on the money. So we'll be seeing where this candle finishes out. Nice, JB10. Well, JPAL turned the printer on. It's really about interpretation. He's not going to say anything that's other than that what we already know. And if he does, then we'll get some volatility. All right, so VIX formed new highs, QQQ, now popping down. It broke post-market lows, and let's see how it tests the rest of the day there. That was a $1.30 sell-off on the Qs. All right, so watch this area right here the next few minutes. Do you think everything he has to say is pre-planned to the T? Yeah, I mean he's well aware of the weight of his words. He knows right now. He already knows exactly what he's going to say. It's probably already discussed. So 3 big red in a row coming up, smashed in the face. Big spike on the rates, 1.56. Big sell off on the bonds here. XLF is up as well. All right, testing session lows. Or 60.89. What's funny is that this looks, I mean, look at that. 3 big red candles in a row. That's less than a dollar move. Usually when we have that kind of action, that's a big move, but that's like 67 down to, that's an 80-cent move. So be aware of that. Like, scale your charts appropriately. This looks very aggressive on my scale because I'm scaled into the 3-minute. But, you know, if you like go to the 15-minute, here, it's like an 80-cent move with a wicks on both end. Yeah, $2 candles in the 3 minutes. So there's the 3-minute scaled appropriately right there. Not all that bad. So scale appropriately so you don't start getting your heart rating faster. Chan says, I just joined. Are you waiting to buy a call? I'm not waiting to buy anything right now. I'm not taking a call or a put at the moment. I'm letting things shake out. I'll use it as a backup confirmation kill. Uh, but right now I'm trading levels and volume. Yeah, he's probably J-Pal probably right now is brushing his teeth in front of the mirror. He's like, come on, J-Pal, you got this. Don't kill the market so you can do this. Or maybe he already put his retirement papers in. He's like, man, I'm gonna watch this. I'm about to go down to the history books, come out and say, rates, baby, we're hiking them right now. Alrighty. So little bounce here on the Qs. SPY is 461 and climbing. Let's go to the 5 minute. That's what the 5 minute candle looks like. Look at that. Look at all those wicks in the 5 minute. There is the 5 minute chart there. 15 minute, nice and red. There's a 15 minute on the Qs. That looks bearish. And there's a 3 minute. A lot of wicks. How do you update the levels every day? They are based on the volume profile. They are based on the order flow, block orders, and price action, all rolled into one. Munching on my carrots as my breakfast. Yeah, what up, Jack? Q's getting a bounce. SPY coming up to S1 now. There you go. VWAP, yeah. I use the simply moving average for long trades. Not yet, Bryce. I don't have any. I don't have any videos on my long-term stuff yet. Stand right at the status quo, right back to R1 every time. What's the name of the book that I mentioned? The Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis by Anna Colling. There you go. I'm on a PC, Austin. PC. So the tire, there's a big, like, there's indecision in the market right now, obviously. If you look through the X's, XLU has been downtrending. XLRE is down as well. But then there's a big green candle on XLB. XL Energy right now is spiking pretty hard after having some downside. XLP is selling off there. C is flat. I is down. Y, Y, which is consumer discretionary, is pretty green right now, as well as XLF. And now V is trying to make a bounce after a little craziness. So tech is still very well down. Tech is pretty heavy at the moment and is weighing things down at the moment. So let's see how tech can start to rebound. And right off R1. You can still see this little chop area where it just keeps coming up and bouncing, up and up and bouncing. I see XLE do things I don't quite understand sometimes. Yeah, well, let's dig deeper. I like doing a little X analysis. X is going to give it to you. Let's see. Pour one out for X. All right, go to the SSGA website, which is fantastic. It'll tell you all the holdings. Let's look at the XLE holdings. Where is its prospectus? Documents. There we go. $49%, 100% common stock XLE right now. No, it's not that. I want the E, not common communications. There it is. 90% oil, gas, consumables, and it's 9%, which is 10% of energy equipment. So the equipment that provides that. Right now they've got 200 million of liabilities, total investment 100%, 100.8 short term. Okay, so we're coming down net assets. Biggest holdings ExxonMobil. Second biggest is Chevron, 6 billion and 5 billion respectively. And then Phillips 66, Pioneer Natural Resources, Marathon Petroleum, ConocoPhillips, and yeah, the various other, basically definitely a lot of oil. Here, you know what? Let's see if this will copy and paste towards. That might be a dumpster fire in the trading room, but yeah, there you go. There are the holdings of XLRE or XLE. Red candles. What website is that from? Yeah, I highly recommend all of you bookmark that website, ssga.com. You'll learn a lot about not only, I mean, SPY holdings, QQQ. If you want to learn, if you want to research what's in QQQ, and then if you want to research within all the X sectors, highly recommend it. Go down to the holdings or the prospectus, and it'll show you everything you know about all that stuff. So, yeah, for sure. For the FAQs, definitely. That's the right move, D. D-Dub. How recently did you settle into only trading SPY? Started December 2020. That's when I started settling into it, and then I went completely 100% exclusive about February 2021. HLM is new here. Love the content so far, so I'm learning a lot. Thanks for being here, HLM. Welcome, welcome. You got a great community. Great community. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when he'll be talking today. Yeah, ssga.com. That's the State Street SPDR Global Advisor website, and that'll tell you everything you know about ETFs, X's, so on and so forth. You just search for it, go through there. Yeah, you need to know. Nice thick mass. I just always like SPY. The relative predictability of it compared to other equities. Q is nice. I've thrown in a few Q trades every now and then, but I can just read SPY better. I like it. Lieutenant Terror. Thoughts on using wave trend with squeeze momentum? I stopped using squeeze momentum, and I don't use wave trend, so I don't really like to focus too much on technical indicators. I would rather focus on fundamentals and learning about the market first, and then do that stuff. But I don't use that stuff. I don't have an opinion one way or the other about it, Michael. Any thoughts on this on the index, the greed index? I guess it's a good outlook. It's more that's a visual aid for for to consume on news. That's all that is. Um, you know, Obviously we're in an extreme greed. I don't need that index to tell me we're in an extreme greed situation. High liquidity, everything's being bought up relentlessly. Every dip is bought. That's just the market. That's the current market conditions that we're in, and we're going to play to that. OM, if this breaks the bottom, would you recommend zero DTE puts? No, I would not. Puts, maybe. Zero DTE, no. It's been a while since I've seen a bid ask over 3 cents, though. Usually the bid ask, the ones that I choose are always 1 cent. It's been a while since I've seen 0.03, unless you get away from the further outside the money and later in expiration, maybe. But all right, so tech is starting to make a little bounce. At least the Qs are, not tech overall. XLV, new lows here. XLF coming down, so let's keep an eye on healthcare. XLY, new highs, consumer discretionary. And XLI, new lows. Big, big extreme swings across the board, which is definitely causing some pushing and pulling. Thoughts on Ethereum? I mean, I'm learning more and more about crypto. I don't really know enough to make a professional thought on it. There are people in here that you can ask about that, but yeah, I plan on investing in it. Let's put it that way. I've been trading a lot different tickers with ridiculous bid asks. This one had a bid of 115 and ask, oh no, and people on the server I was buying on it. Yeah, no man. The more liquidity you have in a stock or a ticker, and the higher volume you've got in the option chain, the tighter that bid is going to be. So that's why I want very high volume traded. I want highly liquid equities for me to trade because that's going to give you the most accuracy and the best chance of making profits. So, I mean, I remember back in the day, I would trade stuff that's very low liquidity. For example, TRTX, and for example, you can't. It's hard to trade options on that stuff because the spread is so wide. It's like $2 spreads. Like you can't trade that. And they even would try to get out of it, you can't sell it unless a news event comes in and pumps it. At which point, you hope the news event's in your direction. If I scale TradingView to $1, SPY looks like a flat line. Yeah. Do I buy silver and gold in physical form? No, I don't. That's one of the few investments I don't partake in is precious metals like that. I do have some gold and silver coins, but not because I bought them. It's because I was handed them down from my father after he passed. So, but I don't actually buy them now. Yeah, so there's been more and more focus on crypto talk, and I'll touch on this just momentarily. I am going in the process of creating a Patreon crypto channel to talk in. However, it's going to be moderated heavily. Like I'm not going to allow like crap coins and altcoins. Like it's going to be for serious investors that want. Because me personally, I actually do want to start getting into crypto trading. I think it's a smart decision, and I want to be privy to all of investment opportunities. So I will be opening up a crypto channel to discuss some mindful crypto chatter. But yeah, no crap coins, no nonsense. At a time like this, would you ever try to pick up SPY calls that support and scalp when it goes up the resistance you made? No, no, because things can go either way at this point. It all depends, AV jobs. It all depends. Next, this conversation should be pretty good to watch, but I'm going to go in with an open mind. All right, Microsoft. Man, look at Microsoft giving it all back. Sorry, Justin. Apple climbing. Amazon. Let's see here. Google starting to climb or to fall. Nvidia new lows right now. 262.71. SP or Tesla back and forth. Tech starting to look a little heavy. Let's see if we can reject R1. Yeah, they do Ezekiel. They do. If you want to play a low DT Iron Condor. Next, Cornell. Do well at your day job. Bring that cheddar. I'm not going to hold any positions into JPL, I'll tell you that. I don't like to hold into potentially unknowns. That's what's called gambling. Unless you're Nancy Pelosi, then it's easy money. 461.25 off R1. And let's see, Tech, I know was starting to get some downside there. Back and forth with Tech, and still more of the same. XLK is still downtrending. XLV is starting to bounce. XLF. And SPY broke up R1. Matt says he's new here. Curious about what your option strategies are. What do you usually typically use, and what criteria do you have and enter an option? Just did a video on that very thing. Awesome question. I go for $2 to $3 away in strike price, and I go for anywhere from 3 to 5 days in expiration. That puts me right in the volatility where I need it. My personal risk tolerance falls in that range. That gives me the return I want when SPY moves, and it gives me the losses I want when I'm wrong. So zero DTE, stuff like that is a little too aggressive and moves a little too quickly for me. I don't see much bullish action, Vivek. I don't. Oh, and when you first started trading, did you ever have bigger losses by not setting stop limit? Yes, I did. All right, let's get off the earnings report thing and let's move on. Y'all take that conversation to the general chat, please. Is it okay to hold long calls 2+ months expiring considering FOMC? It depends. There is a growing attraction to some long-term leaps puts right now. I'm talking like 4 or 6 months. I mean, I think it's a smart play if timed correctly. I would probably wait until after tomorrow to see after today to see what he says before considering some leaps. But November is a critical point. We're in a critical point here, especially after this nutty bullish run we've had in all of October, going up to 461. Obviously some long-term leap puts sound pretty attractive right now. I would wait till today though. I don't think it's a bad play. I think it's part of being a savvy investor to focus on that. Nice, Andy. Yeah, buddy. Thanks, Matt. 356 people watching, 2 dislikes, 65 likes. Give me that like button for me. Helps the video become a little more aware and reach a larger audience. I'm trying to undo a lot of the misinformation out there, and that helps me do it. So I appreciate that greatly. Go check out my latest video if you want to learn a little bit more about the intro to options trading. And be on the lookout for more videos coming out, the how-to series. You're welcome, Magic. Thank you for being here, buddy. All right, so we have this little wedge, higher highs, lower highs, right at R1. QQQ is up there. Y'all know I don't play wedge patterns. The only wedge I like is a wedge of New York style cheesecake. Forget to hit that like button. I'm not a like, but oh yeah, thanks, Magic. Wish there was a heart button. Nice, Mark. That's exactly right. At least it's not red. Or a wedge of pizza, New York style pizza. Yeah, love that. Man, I do miss some New York style pizza, man. Awesome. All right, for all the new people joining on here, let's discuss the 1 year chart because I do like to hang out. I like to have a high level 30,000 foot view when I'm a cruising altitude view of the market, and that's the good way of just being a smart trader, is being aware of all your market conditions. And the last time we've had a move similar to this was March. It hasn't been this aggressive though since back in the Corona rebound. But even if we aren't going into a bear market, even if we continue to climb overall, from the short term, we are primed for at least a pullback of this magnitude right here, small pullback. Just because the volume is starting to decline, the days are starting to get tighter and tighter, the wicks are starting to become more abundant. So we are to the point where we do need to start planning for a short-term downturn, just like we always have every month. We usually have one every month or so, and it's time. So when do we start playing that? And like I said yesterday, this transition phase is what gets most people. This is what retail traders have the most problem with, because it's easy to play this up here. It's easy to play this, but the transition phases where you have all the wicks is where people usually get smoked out. And it started on Friday, and people got smoked on Friday. I've been getting emails the past 2 days about people needing help because they're taking some silly losses, and it's because we're trying to fight this chop, this consolidation, when it's very hard for the inexperienced trader to navigate this stuff. That's why I would rather wait for this stuff, wait for this, and stay off of this stuff. And it's very indicative because volume drops off. You see the volume here, you see the volume here, you see the volume down, peaking out, and then the wicks. You see the wicks start to form, and like this stuff here. So you have to be aware of these type of days. So even if we don't have the long-term bearish action, we are primed for at least a short-term small downturn. Trade the easy days. That's right. Hey, thanks, Mark. Super chat coming from Mark. Thank you for supporting the community and hanging out with us today. Nice trade. I appreciate that greatly. Appreciate that greatly. Slow and steady like the tortoise. Yeah, that's right. That's why I said the best trade. I think I said this a couple months ago. The best trading book I ever read was The Tortoise and the Hare. That's a good comment, Cheese, because you said I think it's hard to remember to protect profits when you are ahead. That's right. And people get into mentality as they're playing with house money. They have maybe a week or two of strong wins. They're up big. They're up greatly. They've got a lot of profits in their bank account, and they start thinking, oh well, it doesn't matter. I could trade. This is house money. I don't worry need to worry about losses. When you need to think the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Those profits are hard earned, and the market loves to snatch them from you. It loves to stick its hand in your pocket and snatch that money out of your pocket. So you have to protect your profits and trade very smart. The more you win, you need to really start focusing on protecting those profits. It's easy to make money. It's harder to keep it, and that's both in your personal finance as well as trading. So any fool can go spending money. Any fool can come in here and lose money, but it's harder to keep it in the long term. So protect those profits. Yeah, the castle analogy. That's right. You protect those protects those profits. You build a castle around it. You build a moat. You throw some alligators in there, drawbridge, the whole shebang. You spare no expense. Spare no expense. So yeah, Killhouse coming out with another super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for the stream and answering questions. Your channel is unreal. Well, you're very much welcome. I love conversations about trading, about finance in general. It's a very large point of passion in my life. It's changed my life, and if I could change yours, win-win situation. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. The SPY bullish today. Right now, it's neutral. We're pretty much neutral. Big red on SPY right there. Well, I would say red, not big red, but right at S1. There's a significant red in SPY, or I'm sorry, QQQ. And I calculated yesterday we are 10% extended above the 200 moving average. Uh, extremely, I would say, very imminent of a downturn is about 15%, but we are at 10% right now. Have I calculated my monthly gains? No, not yet. October is the first month of my new quarter, so I haven't calculated it yet. If you're going to do a future Sunday, would announcements be? I don't want to miss it. I'll post it in here. There's not too much chatter on Sundays, so I'll post it just in the Patreoners room, the trading room, and I'll say, hey, we'll jump on Sunday night and do some futures trading. All right, green candle up here, just kind of just form these little gap ups, or I'm sorry, little buy ups here since 460.83. Qs bouncing a little bit. Credit spreads versus options. I think they're both fantastic. I'm not. I don't want to consider myself a theta trader or just a regular long call, long puts trader. You want to have both tools in your closet. You want to be able to grab your toolbox and play whatever is needs to be played. So it's just being a well-rounded trader, long term, short term, day trading. Is the ES1 a good way to predict the market? Predict, strong word. Uh, the futures are the lifeblood of the market. Like you could read a lot about the futures, especially going into the pre-market hours, early morning hours. So you can trade the futures, you can learn how to read the market. But predict, strong word. I'd say read. Bonds now have been falling off pretty hard all morning long as XLF is just going crazy. Yeah, it's coming. That's going to be part of the series, Adrian. My goal is to create several videos over the next 2 or 3 months on the how-to series, focused on everything options trading related: credit spreads, strangles, long calls. Like how do I choose everything? So how do I play everything? How do I take profits? The whole shebang. Bonds. How to read bonds. How to incorporate bond reading into your system. The whole kit and caboodle. Definitely, Adrian. Definitely. Appreciate that. Went long on volatility this morning. Hopefully, we'll see some as the day goes along. We'll see. How long average do you spend a day trading options? Some day I'll trade all day. Some day I won't trade at all. Some days I'll be here for an hour. All depends on the market. I let the market tell me how long it wants me to sit here on a computer. I'm an outside guy though. This is my fall is my favorite time of year, so it's like I'm sitting here looking out the window like a dog looking at a treat. I love it. So anytime I have an excuse to get away from the computer, go outside, I'm on it. And I also love hero sandwiches. Yeah, buddy. The Pacific Northwest has some awesome fall. Yeah, I'd like to be up there. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest. I've been to the furthest west I've been is Yosemite. Or I guess Fresno is technically the furthest west I've been. So yeah, I have to be up there. Sorry, Q. Trying to make this interesting. I know there's not a lot going on here. There's not too much trading talk about, but right now we all know what we're waiting for. We all know what we're waiting for. Definitely yoga. I spent some time at March Air Force Base out there, but not that long. Yeah, me and the wife want to climb Mount Rainier. So we'll go out there one day. All right, so let's take a look here. Not all that much going on. Still much of the same. Not going to repeat myself over and over again. The bonds, interesting action on the downside, and the rates are still climbing here. Keep an eye on XLF as it's going way out the top, carrying the market right now. Everything else is pretty much up and down. All of the same. Any ghost stories to share? Nope, no ghost stories. I have not, Karina. I have not. How much capital do I usually use? Usually I play with that, so it works for me. 461.42 coming up through R1 and climbing. In the video, I doubled my portfolio in 4.5 months. You showed that your average position size, 8.7%, is the rest of your portfolio invested in long-term stocks. That's the average position size of my trading account. Trading account. Is it a good time in the market to start a long-term portfolio? It's always a good time to start a long-term portfolio because you're thinking about long-term. There's always going to be a high. There's always going to be a low. There's always going to be a good time to average up, average down, all that kind of stuff. So long-term portfolio, there's always a good time. However, I would tread a little more cautiously in the next 2 months because things are a little dicey. But then again, people said they were dicey back in you know December 2020, and here we are, 461. So that's the thing about long-term portfolio, long-term trades. You have to think decades, 30, 40 years. Do you really care about a 20% correction over the course of 40 years? So I hardly ever even look at my long-term trading account. Yeah, Cody's been doing really well. Yeah, this has been a fantastic week for Theta plays, so he's been doing really well this week. I've taken his plays before. Sometimes, it's good stuff, but I've got a lot going on here with the long term and the long puts, so whenever I do it, it works out well. Do you ever stay or swing trade from within the IRA? Good question. I'm actually working towards doing more of that. With Black Friday and Christmas, how does it affect the markets? This will be an interesting consumer season. We've got the supply chain issues. A lot of consumer distributors are already starting to plan for that. They're doing Black Friday sales early, but there's also a lot of rumbling about how is it going to affect the consumer season. I'm new here. How can we make money with you? Or do you call out alerts? Do we just watch you live and do what you do? No. I do call out my alerts. I will say that. However, I try to caution people away from doing any kind of live trading with or following people, including myself. It's hard to get in there accurately. You can't get in the same positions I do, no matter how aggressive I am on getting that alert out as quickly. So I would focus more on using my plays as sentiment and learning the actual system that I teach. And that's why I've created this. I've created the Discord that I'm chatting in now, actually co-streaming now in, uh, focused around education and learning how to do this yourself instead of following me or anybody else for that matter. Learn to fish. Exactly right. Exactly right. You hear me? Yep. We got some audio issues. Good to go. Yeah, so it's 9:50 my time. We got 10 more minutes, and I'll hop off here. There's not really all much going on. No reason to stay on any longer than that. We're all just waiting for JPal. There's not really much movement here. It's hard to make some money when you've got these small movements, 460.83 up to 461.53. So these got these little 70-cent ranges. Tight tug of war back and forth. Do I think it'll go green today? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens when JPal starts coming back up. Yeah, I'm coming back for JPal, or for sure, for show. I wouldn't miss that one. That's the if you want the theta traders, you got to go to the tier two. You get him as well. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. Nice, Jesse. $2. I like it. Better than being red. Yeah, I could. All my positions, unless otherwise indicated, are pretty much time stamped already. But yeah, I could figure out a way to do that a little more accurately. Most of my, I would say 95% of my live trades are posted within 10 seconds, 15 seconds of the entry. So, just they are time stamped via Discord, so you can kind of go back and say, all right, well, 10 seconds before this entry, this was the price he entered, so I can kind of see what he was setting up. But yeah, I see what you mean. What's the difference between the Patreon and the Discord? The Discord is a place for everyone to chat, and there are free open chat rooms to the people get in there and discuss stuff. The Patreoners are exclusive to the community. I give them the live plays, and when I post plays, take my trades, I post them live for them. They get my pre-market analysis with the R and S levels, the red and green levels you see there. They get those commentary as well as my podcast. I have a Making Millionaires podcast I post that's open for them as well. That actually tomorrow, a new episode coming out tomorrow, by the way, of Making Millionaires podcast. So then they get access to merchandise. Our merchandise store is coming online this month, and then Tier 2 actually gets 10% off that merchandise. So $10 a month, that's Tier 1. It's $10 a month that gets you access to all that. If you want the Tier 2, you get $20 a month, and that gets you access to all the Theta trades as well as mine. Tier 3 free merch. Yeah, so my thing, what differentiates me between the other people that do this is I don't want you following my trades. I want you learning from my trades. I want you learning the system and just use my trades as like a kind of a test or an indicator in and of itself. If you're thinking about, hey, I think I need to take calls here, things look great, and then you see me enter, just use that as okay. Well, he sees that. I like it, so it just gives you a little more strength. I just want to give you my money and take a cut. Yeah. What percentage have I allocated to real estate? A great deal. A great deal of it. You know why? And here, that's a great question, and that makes me think. Home at last. Um, it's fun, even seeing that word, it gives me goosebumps because I've worked so hard for such a long time. And people talk about luck, and they look at people that have any kind of wealth or means, and they use the word luck a lot. But in order to become quote unquote lucky, you have to position yourself to take advantage of advantageous circumstances. And it's really true. Like luck, the definition of luck is where preparation meets opportunity. That's the harder you work, the luckier you are. That type of thing. So I've always believed in multiple sources of income: long-term trading, day trading, real estate. Working a career, building up money. I've always looked at a career. I have no aspirations in any career field to be a CEO of a job. My mindset has always been my job, my salary is corporate sponsorship. They are paying me to fund my investments. And yes, I have to give them 8 hours a day of my time. But that's why I've always looked at it that way. I've always looked at jobs as corporate sponsorship. And yeah, real estate put me in a position, and my long-term trading account put me in a position to take advantage of 2020. Massive appreciation in my real estate properties, massive appreciation in my long-term trading account that I've had for years and years, and that put me in a position to take advantage of it. And the only way you can take advantage of it is if you put yourself in that position to take advantage of advantageous situations. I have no loyalty to any company, to any job that have to put in time to give me money because whenever I am no longer convenient to them, they'll cut me out and I go take a hike. So I have no loyalty to them other than my monetary value. So, and that's just me being a savvy investor. So, just my 2 cents. You're welcome, Hero Sandwich. You're welcome. You can never make money. You can never become wealthy if you never put money on the table. You've got to start taking some risks. You have to take some risks to make money. You're scared about buying the real estate property? Good, go do it. Feel the rush of signing the dotted line about your first real estate property. You're afraid to buy Amazon at 3,000? Good, go do it. You're afraid to start that business, a side hustle? Good, go do it. Pick up the phone and start dialing. what movie reference? I love it. My W-2 exists to fund my 1099. Absolutely, it does. Anyway, 461.48. Not really much moving. Take your profits from trading, invest them in real estate. There you go. We're all traders. Every single person in the world is a trader. They just don't know. They're trading different stuff. If you have no investments at all, nothing, and you're going to a 9 to 5 job every day for the rest of your life, you're trading time for money. You're a trader. And your time is traded from your family or whatever it else is that you're passionate about. You're trading your time for your money. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 hour job, 1 hour at your job gets you 1 hour of salary. Or 40 hours a week gets you 40 hours worth of salary. Your goal in life is to increase those returns. Increase those returns. You don't want a 1-to-1 ratio. You want a 20-to-1 ratio. You want 20 hours of return for 1 hour of work. Anyway, getting on the soapbox here. Am I going to stream the FOMC? Yes, I am. Coffee is for closers. Great movie. I do. I do utilize tax deductions for sure. It's a great conversation to have as well. I'm very cautious to trickle into the tax conversations because I don't want people to be like, oh, OM told me that I could deduct this, and then I get smoked. So anyway, it is 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. I think it's time to call it a morning. I'm going to hang up here. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm going to go take care of a few things. We've got some tier 3 calls, and then we'll be back on here to listen to JPal. Day of Reckoning. Day of Reckoning. What's going to come out today? Is it going to be a nothing sandwich? Is it going to be some volatility one way or the other? Should be fun. Anyway, thank y'all for being here. If you are new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You get notifications for the how-to series coming out, as well as our live streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Come over and join the Discord. You want to be a part of something great, a fun group that likes to talk. Me and the moderators don't take any crap, so I have no problem smacking people's hands when they start getting out of line. So we don't put up with a lot of the normal internet chatter. So if you want to come out, hang out with some nice, professional, constructive conversations, learn about education, learn about some options and how to make some money, and a little bit of other soapbox rants along the way, come have some fun. Links in the description. So until next time, I will see you all bright and early on Friday morning for my YouTubers, and I will I am going to stream it. So I'll do an afternoon stream with the YouTube, because we'll talk about the JPal. So yeah, I'll jump back on the YouTube stream this afternoon. So I'll see you all this afternoon. Until then, take it easy. Go grab a sandwich. I'm out.